Hey, we caught him on Topwater today. I'll tell you what, that's a general term used by everybody in the industry, because topwater is so vast that we can be talking about a frog bait, a walking bait, or a buzz bait, toad bait, multiple different kinds of topwater, and we're going to be talking topwater today on the water.
Hi, this is Joe Kopp, and we're here today talking about knots, and I want to talk a little bit about the Berkley line. We're using big game today, and I want to show you a little bit some techniques to improve your knot tying. If you've been living under a rock, then you haven't heard about it. Otherwise, everybody knows about the Palomar knot, and it's a very effective knot that can be used under light line as well as heavy line. What I want to show you today is a few tricks on how you can improve your success in tying that knot, making sure that as you put those two leads through the eye, you don't want them to twist, you want them to be parallel. If they get twisted like this at all, you lose over 50% of the knot strength. So I want to show you a few tricks today. With the Palomar knot, you want to double your line through. So you want to put that through very easily. Oop. Now, the number one thing that most guys do is they just start grabbing this line together and trying to tie it up. What I want you to do is do this trick, what I call the cradle. See how you can hold this line in your hand and you can make sure that those lines are not twisted? That gives you a better and sure possibility that you're not going to twist that line before you get started. Now, to tie the Palomar, it's very simple. You just do a very simple loop and do an overhand like you're tying your shoestrings. You just pull that loop through and hold it tight. Now, another mistake that most fishermen do is they grab this loop and pull it down to go over their bait, and they twist their hand like this. I want you to avoid grabbing that line at all, and instead reach in and grab your bait and pull it up through your line. That will ensure that you don't give that bait a twist. You see how I've tucked my hand under and pulled that loop out? Because the last thing you want to do is you want to grab that bait and put your finger in the front here and start tightening it down on your finger. That way you're not tightening down onto your clip and you're not getting it tangled up in your jig hair or your spinner baits. From here, the most important thing is you want to wet your line. Most guys lick their line, but they really don't wet it enough. What I want to show you is what I use on my boat. I put a sponge in a bucket. This way you really get that wet. Look how wet that's coming out. That's the kind of wet I'm talking about, so that you get that knot to slide down nice and smooth. See how easy that slides down? That knot is going to cinch down really tight and be really secure up against that split ring. That's a good knot. That knot's going to give us 95% or higher on every pull test. I built a machine right here. It's a knot machine. We test these knots, and I'm going to show you today that with that extra tricks and extra care in tying your Palomar, you should be able to get a knot that's 95 or better. Again, we're tying 15-pound braid or 15-pound mono on big game. We're going to see what we get out of that knot today. 15.84. So there I can show you that by doing those tricks, it's going to allow you to take the knot out of the equation and get a good hook set on that fish and ensure that whatever pound test you're using, you're going to get that full strength out of that line. Give it a try, Berkley Big Game.
Hey, this is Randy Pringle, the fishing instructor, and we're going to be talking about topwater. It's a general term used by multiple different anglers, and if you pan over to your left there, you'll see different styles of topwater baits, all the way from the toad, the frog, the buzz bait, the popper, and the walking bait. Now, I'm throwing a walking bait right now. This is a Big Stick by Ima, and it's a great walking style bait. As it walks through the water and I twitch my bait with my wrist, I'm picking up the line with my reel in a motion that it's continually flowing the whole time, allowing that bait to walk and bob and weave. And that creates that walking the dog concept. And it's very effective, slowing down the bait, making it a less splash, just move a little slower. Drop the rod down, pick up the slack. Drop the rod down, pick up the slack. Do it real small little spurts. Make sharp angles with your wrist, and you'll get that walking the dog. The traditional pop style bait, pop and walkers, and all these style baits that pop and pause and pop and pause, are one of the most commonly used, everywhere from this size all the way up to, you know, jumbos. The popping baits are a very easy bait to work, and you can throw them in multiple different areas. They're very pocket oriented, open water. I like to throw the popping bait on mono because it has a little stretch, it has a little forgiving. On a medium heavy rod, gives it a lot more easier to throw. You throw it out, drop your rod tip down, pop the bait, let it sit there, let the little ripples go away, pop, 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 let it sit there, pop, pop, and then all of a sudden, kaboosh, the fish just comes unglued. Poppers are really a good thing to do. You know, when you're talking about topwater, buzzbait's got to be one of the finest things that we can all enjoy. They got single wings, clackers, double wings, quad wings, plastic blades, multiple different styles. So you have to kind of say, oh, which one do you like? You know, and I'm a big time where if it's windier outside, it's got a little breeze, the louder you want to get. If it's nice and calm, the quieter you want to get. And that's kind of a rule of thumb. Again, like the popper and the walking bait, change your pace every once in a while. If you just sit there going clack, 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 that's okay sometimes, but I really like the opportunity of kicking that bait or changing the cadence of the bait. Throwing it in a location multiple times, changing that pace. Now that can be done with the wrist, with the rod, or by your retrieve of your reel. Highly recommend with all topwater baits is a 7-to-1 ratio reel. The faster, the easier it's going to be to pick up that line to making that next cast. And when the fish explodes on it, you can grab all that line you can and put the hook right to him. The soft plastic frog, hollow frog. You know, with a lot of the weeds and the stuff that we fish, traditional baits with hooks hanging down just can't get in some of the areas. And with the last 10 plus years, the frog has been one of the mighty mo's of getting back into the jungle. And this bait can be fished over many different type of structures with the frog. With working the bait, a frog can be moved in open water or across heavy weeds. 90% of the time, I'm going to use nothing but braid because I'm fishing in the heaviest cover, and line is not a problem for the fish to see it. You know, I want the biggest variety of line. Frogs can be retrieved in many different ways. The walking the dog concept there, or the paws, the sliding across the mats, all different ways you can throw a frog that you can imagine. One of the other topwater baits is soft plastics. And soft plastics like the toad style bait. And here in my hand you'll see the cut tails of these toad style baits, usually used with a single hook. You can use it on mono and or braid depending on where you're fishing. So traditionally it's rigged Texas style so that the hook is buried back into the worm, coming through the head, coming back around, and then tucked back in. This can be thrown over mats, weeds, rocks, stumps. It's a very versatile style bait. However, when you get bit, you got to drop that line, give that fish the time to turn its head, and then put the steel to them. So try the next time out on your topwater, add to your arsenal the toad style baits.
Coming soon. WesternBass.com magazine, a true multimedia product. WesternBass.com will be publishing a full high-end multimedia magazine with live video, flash, and internet connectivity, free to all visitors. WesternBass.com 3D digital magazine offers direct links, streaming video and audio, fully searchable with table of contents and thumbnail browser interface. Crystal clear zoom provides the ability to read clearly any part of the edition at any magnification level. Use the crop tool, take any selection of the magazine and email it to friends. Or share the digital edition magazine with your friends on social networks. Click the link to meet the writers and view the digital ads. It's WesternBass.com 3D digital magazine.
You know, the first thing you want to do when you get the hook stuck past the barb, which I have done right here, is you got to get the other hook out of your way. So you got to definitely get that out of the way. Okay? you don't, that could be a problem in itself. So make sure you just cut that off. The key is to get a pair of clippers like this. This is where it's going to hurt. You got to make sure you hold that one down while you clip the other one. And then you just clip them away, getting that hook out from underneath you. As I videotape this, it's a pain in the rear end, but I'm going to cut this one. You got to get a good pair of clippers. Don't buy the cheap ones. Get the good ones. You want that thing to bite and cut right instantly. There. Now the hook is past the barb right here. What we're going to do is we're going to wrap some string around this corner right here, and we're going to hold this down like this. And then I'm going to yank the hook out. Alright? Okay. So one of the things I'm going to use is I'm going to use some spider wire. It's one of my sponsors, so I'm going to use spider wire. And I want to use heavy enough line so it doesn't break. I've made two pieces, and I'm going to take this and I'm going to tie this in a double knot so that it doesn't come undone. And I want to make sure it doesn't come undone, so I'm going to tie it knot to knot to knot. And because I can't use my other hand too well, I have to just do an overhand knot, which I would rather have a really, really nice knot. But that'll work. And then I'm going to do another knot so it just doesn't slip, because I don't want to do it twice. There we go. Now I'm going to put my hand on this loop here that I've made. I'm going to put it around, okay, and hold it tight. The key is to not slip. I'm going to put that line on the bottom part of that arc, right there. Right like that. Now I got to hold that down. So if it pops out, I can hold it down like this. And when I pull, it'll pop out. Now the key is, because it's in a bad angle, I've got to figure out how to hold it, hold the hook down while I pull. And I might have to hold it down like this and pull. And I'm trying to work this out because of the bad angle. And the person that's filming it's got to film instead of holding it down. Pause. So I've got my partner here holding it down, and I'm going to slide that line down there. And what I need to do is make sure when I pop it, it goes away from me. So I'm going to count to 3. 1, 2, and if you notice that hook is completely out and all I have is a pinprick. And I'm going to take my other hand, wipe it off, and look at this. And as you can see, that the hook is out, and see how far it was down that bend? That's a lot of hook. $100 bill I just saved from emergency, and it's done. The wound is healed, cleaned, and I'll just put a little bit of alcohol on it. Maybe alcohol somewhere else, but it's clear. Hook removal by the fishing instructor, Randy Pringle.